Folks, we'll get started. If I could get everyone's to sit down and get ready, we'll start this meeting. We now have a quorum, so let's officially establish that. If we could call the roll.
Yes, Mr. Blumenfield.
Blumenfield present.
Ms. Hutt.
Here.
Mr. Nassarian. Present. Mr. Lee. Mr. Lee absent, and Ms. Rahman.
Here.
4 members and a quorum, sir.
Great. So again, we're going to with public comment. We're going to take public comment from people who have. We're going to start out by having public comment from people who've signed up for 3 or more items. But if you sign up for 9, 10, or 11, we're kind of treating those as one block. So if you sign up for those 3, wait until we get to those items so that you can be heard during the time. The multiple item is really for people who come here on a regular basis, just like to talk about everything. So, but if you're actually here for an item, we'll hear you when you get to that item. Also, colleagues, my intention is to continue item 1, is going to be continued till date determined, to approve items 2, 4, 12, and 13 on consent. And then for 7, since the appellant has withdrawn their appeal, we're going to deny that appeal on consent. And then we'll hear items 5, 3, 6, 8, and then we'll take 9, 10, 11 together. And then item 14 is a closed session item, which we will take in closed session. So with that, we could, Madam Clerk, if you could read the rules for public comment into the record.
Yes, sir. Appellants and/or their representatives and applicants and/or their representatives will be allowed to speak for a total of 3 minutes per side unless otherwise noted by the chair. Members of the public wishing to speak on one agenda item only shall have an opportunity to speak for 1 minute. Appellants and applicants will be given an opportunity to speak when their item is called. Each appellant and applicant has a total of 3 minutes to speak. An appellant can choose to have a single representative speak on his or her behalf or divide the 3 minutes among his or her team. Anyone else, including an attorney or project manager, wishing to speak on an appellant's behalf who does not do so during this 3-minute period may offer a minute of public comment whenever the committee chairperson opens a public comment period for the item. Therefore, we expect that appellants and applicants have their respective teams assembled and ready to present at the appropriate times today. Members of the public wishing to speak on more than one item shall state that and shall be allowed to speak for a total of 2 minutes. Failure to submit public comment in a timely manner before the comment period for the item ends results in forfeiture of the opportunity to participate in public comment for the item. As stated by the chair, general public comment will be taken at the end of the meeting. Mr. City Attorney, please provide additional guidance on public comment.
Certainly. When speaking on the agenda items, you must be on topic. Our goal is to get through as many speakers as we can. If you are not speaking on topic, or if we cannot tell whether you are speaking on an agenda item, you will get 1 brief warning from the city attorney. If you do not immediately get clearly on topic, or if you stray off topic, you will forfeit the rest of your time, and we will move on to the next speaker. We will inform you when your time is up.
Okay. Before we get to public comment, I believe on 5, Council District 14 had recommended an amendment. We might as well read that into the record so that folks can have that before public comment.
Sure.
If you could,
I will read the
proposed
revised
amendment.
condition for item 5. It's condition 2CI1, and this is the way it reads: a payment to the Council District 14 Public Benefits Trust Fund in the amount of $5.7 million and change, 50%. The funds shall be utilized to provide affordable housing, public open space, historic preservation, recreational, cultural community, and public facilities, job training and outreach programs, affordable child care, streetscape improvements, public art programs, homelessness services programs, or public transportation improvements. So what this condition does, it has stricken out what was originally proposed, the Housing Department Affordable Housing Trust Fund, and in lieu, it's the Council District Public Benefits Trust Fund. That's the extent of the change.
Okay, that's the proposed amendment.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, we can move now to public comment. Again, general public comment, just as a reminder, we hold in this committee at the end after we've completed all items. So we can talk about an item, and then at the end, we can do general public comment.
Read the next page first.
I did that already, yeah. Is that, okay. I think I did that already. I mentioned what we're doing. Okay. So, we'll start with folks who wish to speak to 3 or more items. Again, 9, 10, and 11 we're going to take as a group. So, if you wish to speak to 3 or more items, I know Audit LA is here, and we'll start with you, but anyone else can go to the sergeant at the left-hand side of the chamber, house right, stage left, if you wish to speak to 3 or more items. Okay. Ms. Audit LA, if you wish, you have 2 minutes to speak to, presumably, I assume you're talking on all items. Which items would you like to speak to?
Yeah, I guess everything. I really want to get public. What time do you think public comment will be doing? Because I want to go to that religious
I can't give you a time. It depends how long these items take, but that's the last thing on our agenda. But you have 2 minutes to speak to the items in front of us.
Okay, let's just,
Okay, please start the time.
all right. Wow, they're long. All the CEQA stuff, it's so confusing, but something about like the errors in what they write and stuff, like I think you guys should really run spell check and stuff, you know, because like really there shouldn't be any errors, or double check it. It just goes to showing like everybody, because I've seen errors, you know, and really they shouldn't be doing that. Like it's really easy to just run it, especially now with AI. You can just kind of run it through AI, you know, Bob. And what about this one? Like the getting the guy on planning commission. He sounds lovely, but I just want to make sure that he understands. Like, can you prep him to know that he's going to be hearing, you know, from me probably like all the time ad infinitum for these certain issues, and that he should be forewarned. Bob, can you hook me up? I mean, I'm assuming you're going to vote him in, but just let him know that, you know, we're here to talk about street closures and no more permits and no street vacations and stuff. And that's land use, right? That's land use.
I'm not sure which item you're on.
Oh, the one with the guy that you're putting him on the, you know, for
Okay,
planning
continue.
committee.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that one. And then, let's see. Oh, writ of mandate. That sounds really like official and stuff. Commanding the city council to set aside, vacate, and annul the city council's January 30th action denying the appeal for Mamba and sustaining the determination of incompleteness in Department of City Planning. See, I kind of find that you guys do incomplete jobs sometimes. Like, I don't think you always do a great job. So I think take it really serious. I know you have Mr. McCosker, he's not here, huh? He's a lawyer, he might be able to give you good advice. Or, you know what, the city attorney, sometimes they give good advice, sometimes they don't. Because to me, and sometimes like they don't really honor the Brown Act or any of that stuff. So I don't know, I would get like outside counsel to kind of give you a heads up on that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else here who wishes to speak to 3 or more items that are not 9, 10, and 11? Okay, sir, welcome. Which items would you like to speak to?
Yeah, there's a couple. I'll start with 4, go on down.
Okay, you have 2 minutes.
All right, thank you. Item number 4, there's an issue regarding some clerical errors made on a draft ordinance. The issue I have with this motion is specifically that on a similar item relating to portions and even compliance with city code, there's a major clerical error where fines were not being collected in the proper amount, and in fact they were off by several millions. I actually noticed it when the city gave an order for removal of several blockades of the public right-of-way. It occurred at around June 2024, and I'm just not quite confident that the city is actually doing due diligence. It ties into actually agenda item number 6, and the issue is that if the city is missing the collection of fines to the tune of millions, I just don't see how anybody can vote in any good faith that the city attorney's office will continue to do its proper due diligence in correcting these issues. And the problem at hand is, if the city is missing such huge amounts of money, then why is it that any of us should expect the rest of the fines are being collected and the clerical due diligence is being done? And it's not just a matter of the clerical errors. Each of these items do not have a community impact statement from any of the neighborhood councils. So I ask, are you guys even soliciting actively the voice of your constituents? Because the neighborhood councils are the direct voices of your constituents. How is it that you can vote in any good faith on any of these motions when you have not solicited a CIS report? The community impact statement is supposed to be one of the most pivotal foundations for voting in support of any of these motions. And the fines that I'm talking about that was a clerical error was the lack of collection of fines for the Church of Scientology for blocking the public right-of-way over on Fountain Ave and L. Ron Hubbard Way. For an entire year, they owe the city $2.5 million. Collect on it.
Okay, that concludes multiple public comment, folks. Everyone who came to speak on an item will get a chance to speak on that item. So next, colleagues, we're going to continue item 1 until a date determined. Without objection, that's the order. Next, I'd like to approve items 2, 4, 12, and 13 on consent. But before I do that, if anyone came here to speak on item 2, 4, 12, or 13, please come forward to speak. Seeing nobody coming forward to speak on those items, public comment on those items is closed. And seeing no members wish to speak on those items, let's take a vote on items 2, 4, 12, and 13.
Mr. Blumenfield, for the consent items, just for the record, so that the clerk is aware of the action that was taken, for item 2, it's to adopt the motion as denoted on the council agenda. Item 4 is to approve the revised draft ordinance that is attached to the city attorney report dated April the 11th, 2025. For item 12, to approve the recommendations in the city attorney report dated 4/16/25 to comply with the writ, to set it aside, vacate, and annul, and to remand it back to the planning department. And for item 13, to approve the city attorney report dated April 14th, 2025, and again, to set aside, vacate, and annul the city council's January 30th, 2024 action, which had denied the appeal. I will call the roll for items 1, 2, 4, 12, and 13. Mr. Blumenfield.
Bloomfield, aye.
Ms. Hutt.
Aye.
Mr. Nassarian.
Aye.
Mr. Lee, absent, and Ms. Rahman.
Yes.
That's 4 ayes and approved, sir.
Great. Next, we'll take up item 7, which is, again, my recommendation was just to deny that appeal on consent. But before we move to that, we have a member of Councilwoman Park's staff who wishes to make a comment on that. Is that correct? Please come forward.
Good afternoon, Chair Blumenfield, honorable members of the Plum Committee. Sean Silva speaking on behalf of the Office of Councilwoman Tracy Park. I'm speaking today to offer our office's support for staff's recommendation to deny the appeal and uphold the determination made at CPC. The project will add to the neighborhood's housing stock and provide space for neighborhood-serving businesses in downtown Westchester. Throughout the course of their application process, the development team has been engaged and responsive to the community's concerns and remains pledged to commitments made during the course of their outreach. The record shows that the project has the support of the area's neighborhood council, the Business Improvement District, and many residents of the area. We are also pleased to hear that the issues regarding the appeal have been resolved, and for these reasons, we support staff's recommendations and concur with the denial of the appeal. Thank you for your time and consideration of the comments I've made here.
Great, thank you. And I don't believe we have any public comment on this item, but just to be clear, if anyone is here who wishes to speak on item 7, who hasn't spoken already, please come forward. Seeing nobody come forward on item 7, the recommendation is to deny the appeal, and seeing no colleagues with any comments or questions, let's open the roll, or let's call the roll.
Yes. In addition, Councilman, if I may interject, we're denying the appeal and also noting for the record that the appellant has withdrawn their appeal, and to also approve the project findings and the conditions of approval.
Okay, thank you. And before we take that up, I believe we do have a speaker on item 7. 2 speakers. Okay. We will hear the speakers before taking that item up. Go ahead, speaker number 1. Feel free to please identify yourself and what name you signed up under, and you have a minute.
Yes, my name is Juan Luna. I'll be speaking on item number 7. City View has consistently demonstrated strong understanding of local labor needs and importance of using skilled union labor and major development projects. Their developments support economic growth while ensuring construction jobs remain high quality and sustainable for workers. City View recognizes the expertise and professionalism that union carpenters bring to the job site. They have a history of working with unionized labor and unincorporated labor standards that prioritize fair wages, benefits, and safe working conditions. City View values career pathways for local workers through apprenticeship programs, many of which are operated with the Carpenters Union. Their developments create meaningful opportunities for union members, especially those entering the workforce through pre-apprenticeship and training programs. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next speaker. Go ahead, sir.
Greetings, council members. My name is Manny Salcido. I represent the Western States Carpenters. I'm here in support of item 7, the 6136 Manchester Avenue. We're grateful and honored to team up with a responsible developer like City View, who shares many of our common goals for the community by hiring good, safe, responsible contractors, and has made a commitment to the community to create jobs and provide much-needed housing for the good-paying jobs with middle-class wages and good benefits. These are the type of jobs that could be a start for a career for many Angelinos. As we all know, not everybody goes to college, so a state-accredited apprenticeship program is like with the carpenters is a learn while you earn option. We support this program, and we'd like you to vote to approve this also. Thank you.
Thank you. No additional speakers? Okay. Again, and the vote is to deny the appeal, which means to approve the project.
In addition, Mr. Blumenfield, we need to state for the record to adopt the SKIA, and also in denying the appeal, we're sustaining the action, underlying action of the CPC, which recommended approval of the 3 land use entitlements that are mentioned in the agenda.
Okay.
I can call the roll. If that's
Please call the roll.
yes, sir. Mr. Blumenfield,
Blumenfield, aye.
Ms. Hutt,
Yes.
Mr. Nassarian, Mr. Lee is absent, and Ms. Rahman.
Yes.
That's 4 ayes, and that's approved, sir.
Great. Thank you very much. Okay, next item is item number 5. If we could read that into the record.
Yes, sir. Item 5 is a Sustainable Communities Environmental Assessment, a SKIA, and the related environmental findings and the Mitigation Monitoring Program. This is a report from the City Planning Commission recommending the approval of a transfer of floor area rights, and the project is situated in CD 14, and it is for a 51-story mixed-use development.
Great. I have a number of questions about this, but the order will be, we will ask the Planning Department to present their report. We'll ask for any comments from Councilwoman Jarado's office. Then we will take public comment on this item, 1 minute per speaker, and then we'll have committee discussion and comment. So we'll start with the Planning Department to present.
Great. Thank you. Good afternoon, Plum Committee. This is Alice Okerman with City Planning. The project before you, item 5, is for the demolition of an existing surface parking lot and the construction, use, and maintenance of a 51-story mixed-use development comprised of 536 residential dwelling units with retail and restaurant uses. This project was considered by the City Planning Commission on February 13th, 2025. At this meeting, the City Planning Commission found that the project was assessed in the Sustainable Communities Environmental Assessment, ENV-2018-2601-SCEA, considered and adopted by the City Council on December 11th, 2024, and adopted findings and the Mitigation Monitoring and Reporting Program. The City Planning Commission also approved and recommended that the City Council approve the requested TFAR transfer payment plan that includes the TFAR transfer payment in the amount of $1,373,975 pursuant to Section 4.5.10 of Chapter 1 of the LAMC, and a public benefits payment in the total amount of $11,462,471.39 pursuant to Section 4.5.9 of Chapter 1 of the LAMC, provided that at least 50% in the amount of $5,731,235.70 is paid by the applicant to the Public Benefits Trust Fund, and the remaining 50% in the amount of $5,731,235.70 is paid as a direct provision of the public benefits to the City of Los Angeles Housing Department and Affordable Housing Trust Fund, and requested that within 6 months of the receipt of the public benefits payment by the Public Benefit Trust Fund, the Chief Legislative Analyst convene the Public Benefit Trust Fund Committee, and approved zone variances, a director's determination, a site plan review, and a main conditional use permit. The Commission's action on the CPC case was not appealed. A technical modification dated April 8th, 2025 was submitted to the Council file, which requests corrections to conditions 4, 15, 2.c, and finding 1.c. Please note that this technical modification referenced in error a correction to condition 5. No correction is proposed for condition 5. The proposed corrections include condition of approval number 4 regarding bicycle dwelling to correct the mention of on-site restricted affordable units to residential dwelling units. The condition of approval number 15 regarding landscaping to remove the incorrect stamp date of July 13th, 2023 for the project's Exhibit A landscape plan. Condition of approval number 2.c I1 to correct a typographical error for the amount of the public benefit payment to the corrected amount of $5,731,235.70 to the Public Benefit Trust Fund. And finding 1.c be made to correct the 50% public benefit payment amounts of $5,731,235.70 to the Public Benefit Trust Fund. That concludes my presentation. I and staff are available for any questions you may have.
Okay. Before we go to questions, we'll hear from Councilwoman Jurado's office, I believe. We have a staff member come forward. Welcome.
Good afternoon, committee members. Kevin Alcobillo on behalf of Councilmember Isabel Jurado.
If you could pull the mic down a little bit. You can pull the microphone down so we can hear you. Thank you.
Is that better?
Yes.
Great. Good afternoon, council members. I am Kevin Alcobillo, the planning director for Councilmember Isabel Jurado. We are glad to see this development move forward today and are excited to bring even more residential units online in the South Park area of downtown LA. South Park contains numerous high-rise office and residential buildings with a variety of entertainment attractions. The project will contribute immensely to the revitalization of downtown. And while downtown continues to see residential development, much work still needs to be done to furnish DTLA stakeholders with daily neighborhood service amenities. At the same time, this neighborhood experiences concentrated in acute challenges with regard to addressing livability for our housed and unhoused neighbors. The public benefits for this project must extend beyond the property line to contribute to the neighborhood as a whole. Therefore, the council office respectfully requests the committee approve an amendment to allocate the 50% direct provision of the TFAR payment to the CD14 Public Benefits Trust Fund. These funds will go toward public improvements, maintaining affordable housing, arts, culture, holistic public safety, and supporting small businesses. Thank you to the planning department and the development team for bringing forward a well-designed and complete project, and thank you for your consideration.
Okay. Next, we will hear from members of the public. So anyone who wishes to speak to this item, please line up on the right side, or your left, my right. Looking for any members of the public wishing to speak on this item. Seeing no members of the public wishing to speak on this item, we'll move into questions. and I guess I'll get us started, because I'm honestly a little confused about this measure. We're talking about the convention center and the airspace above the convention center, and selling that essentially to a project to give them additional height. Correct me if I'm wrong so far. And normally that money would go 50% into the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. Council District 14 is asking to not put it into the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, but to put it into their own district fund. Before we get to that, fundamentally, if we were to move it to somewhere else, given that it's the convention center and we're about to spend $2 billion on the convention center, is there any way that the money that could be for selling the convention airspace could be pumped back into building the convention center? Like, isn't that sort of a logical thing? Or is that outside of the norm? I don't really understand how this whole process, so.
This is Jane Choi for the record. I can get us started. So the TFAR program is a legacy program. It was part of the old zoning code, but now with the new downtown community plan, that program has sunsetted. It's a program that has been around for decades. It's in our municipal code, and it was prior to the transition administered with the Community Redevelopment Agency. We have details on how the floor area amounts and transfers work, but that's not a program that future projects will be able to utilize. And we can explain, this is part of like a handful of leftover projects that are being processed under the TFAR program.
Well, but what all I'm hearing is that this project, we're selling off the airspace, because of the old program, which is sunsetting, but it's kicking off $11 million. It's being sold to a project downtown.
This is Lisa Weber with City Planning. Yes, this is all prescribed through the ordinance that establishes the transfer of development rights. And the convention center historically has always been the donor site.
Always been the donor. So we've sold this off before?
That's correct.
Is there a limit to how much airspace we can sell off above the convention center? It's an odd thing.
So yes, there is a limit, and we have a team that tracks how much floor area has been sold to date, how much has been committed, and how much is remaining.
Yeah, we basically, I believe it was part of, it was the CR process or part of the community plan process like decades ago, or at least a while ago, I forget what year it was, that established basically like a square footage, right, of air rights that developers could buy. And, you know, honestly, about 6-8 years ago, this was a very common conversation at our City Planning Commission because we had a lot of these projects come through that was looking at utilizing that airspace. So we manage how much is left in it, but this was a real challenging program as for a lot of the issues that you're raising, and that's why in the new community plan, we sunsetted the old transfer of floor area ratio or TFAR program and replaced it with this new basin bonus system, which we think is much more clear and understandable and more accountable, if you will, in terms of how it moves around. But at least if you want to add on to that.
Yeah, with regards to the payments, it's all prescribed in the ordinance where, as you indicated, 50% goes through the public benefits trust fund, and the other 50% is decided upon by a committee of city agencies.
And the Public Benefits Trust Fund is what? Where does that go?
There's a fund that accepts that money, and there's a staff committee that recommends to the council how that money should be spent.
So, and it's across the city, or is it geographic?
The money has to be spent within a mile of where that money came from.
Okay, so that's the public benefits within a mile. And then the other 50%, according to the ordinance, goes to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund.
It certainly could. That's one of the beneficiaries. I believe in this case, it's going to the...
Could, is that not established by the ordinance?
Well, there's 50% of the monies that can go towards what's called direct provision. So there is a staff committee that meets to vet ideas for what those recipients could be, and that's reflected in the staff report that goes to the City Planning Commission. And originally, it was the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, but we have an amendment from the council office to change that to the CD14 Trust Fund.
And the convention center is in CD9,
Correct.
but the benefits would go to CD14?
Correct, that is what's being proposed.
But it's nothing to do with the radius. It has to do with the fact that the building that's buying the benefits
Exactly.
are located in CD14, right? But this would be a switch as opposed, and what's the justification to not put it in affordable housing?
This is Jane Choi for the record. I believe the original amount for the Affordable Housing Trust Fund would have been sort of earmarked for CD14, but that monies going directly into the CD14 Trust Fund would provide more flexibility for that office to spend on other endeavors other than affordable housing.
Alice Okamura with City Planning. So that 50% direct provision is started in the application process through the early consultation session for receiver sites within the city center redevelopment area, which is in this case. And this early consultation session takes place across city planning as well as the mayor's office, city council offices, the chief legislative analyst's
I'm not
office.
sure what you're referring, what are you referring to?
This is under section 14.5.5 of the LAMC that establishes who the recipients of the direct provision public benefits payments would go into, and this is separate from the TFAR Trust Fund. So this 50% of this direct provision is established as part of this early consultation process session between different city departments as well as the applicants.
I don't quite understand all that. I apologize. What I'm hearing is that there's some committee that determines what the direct money goes to, and it's within, it has to be in CD14, is that correct?
The 50% of the TFAR Trust Fund is within the 1 mile radius of the project site. That is separate from direct
No,
provision.
with the direct provision, where does that have to be?
I'm sorry?
Where does the direct provision have to be?
The direct provision has no locational requirements. That is established as part of the early consultation process and the TFAR transfer plan.
Early consultation process, there's a lot of words here. That just means a committee?
That's the staff committee, correct, that makes a recommendation, but ultimately the council decides where that money goes.
Okay, I'm going to open it up to colleagues who might have questions as well. But again, I admit, there's a lot of this planning, I'm not a planning expert, even though I chair this committee, and a lot of it is confusing me. But colleagues, any other questions? Councilwoman Rama.
Yeah, just, again, a clarifying question following up on Councilmember Blumenfield's line of questioning. So half of the funds is going to a public benefits trust fund that has to be spent within a mile's radius of the facility, of the new building, right? That's purchasing the air rights. The other half is going to the affordable housing, according to your recommendation, is going to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund to be spent on projects in the same radius or in that same council district?
Alice Okamura, City Planning. There's no locational requirements for the direct provision of public benefits. It is given as a direct provision to the chosen recipient. Originally, it's established to LAHD.
It's given as a what?
A direct provision as a direct cash payment to the chosen recipient as part of the transfer plan for their choice.
The chosen recipient?
There are no limitations. So it could be the citywide Affordable Housing Trust Fund. It could be others, some type of public improvement or enhancement. It could be related to recreation or open space. So there's a menu that's provided of appropriate types of uses for that money.
And for that menu of types of uses, is it all citywide?
It can be or not. It's flexible. And so I believe when we originally were looking at a direct payment or direct benefit, it was to the citywide Affordable Housing Trust Fund. And that's typical.
Okay, so that's what's
common.
before us, is if we vote on what the staff recommendation is, we would be sending the money to the half of the money, to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund to be used anywhere in the city for affordable housing. If we take up the recommendation by Councilwoman Arado, we would be limiting it to the 14th district, but we would be expanding its use to things other than affordable housing.
That is correct.
Okay. That seems hard to justify. But maybe I know we've done things like this in the past, but it's also, the hard part about this is it's the convention center, which is a major asset. And I guess back to the first question, if we wanted to actually put the money into the convention center, because the convention center is going to be costing us general fund money this year, which
Yes.
It is painful, the impact of not having that general fund. So could we put the money into the convention center?
I think so.
Is that, I mean, given that we're selling the land, the airspace of the convention center, could we put the money back into?
That's a city project.
And if we were to do that, given that we're spending $27 million of general fund this year, we could therefore potentially back out $5 million of general fund and save some jobs.
Yes.
Is that correct?
This is Jane Short for the record. Yes, I believe so, but the payment has to be made within 24 months or before the first building permit is pulled. So even if we earmarked it for the convention center, that money may not come in until a minimum of 2 years.
But it will still defray the general fund. Right now, we're paying all this money in general fund for the convention center. Well, potentially $2 billion, but in the immediacy, 27 million, and the year after that, 50 something. Again, I'm asking these questions because I genuinely came into this not knowing and trying to get in and not getting an understanding even before this hearing. So I'm spitballing, so I'm welcome my colleagues to spitball with me, but to me, that sounds like the logical thing to do. But Councilwoman Rana?
Yeah, and I would just say, you know, at a time when we are thinking about so I'm thinking about this from the conversations that we've been having about reinvesting in the convention center right now. That would be taking general fund dollars. These are dollars that come to us as a city, and putting them into a specific location, the convention center, which is going to generate activity and economic activity and other things for the city as a whole, but also for that particular neighborhood. So we're taking, I mean, we think of the convention center right now as a citywide investment that's worth investing in, and I believe in that investment. I think we as a council believe in that investment. And the same investment happened a few years ago with the construction of the convention center and continued investment in the convention center. So to me, it feels like when you have benefits that emerge from that convention center, some should definitely go to the neighborhoods that are around it, and some should definitely go to a citywide benefit. That feels appropriate to me, given that we are investing citywide dollars into that asset for the city as well. So, I mean, again, I'm not sure what the split should be, or, you know, but that argument makes sense to me, that we would be investing part of it in the neighborhood and part of it citywide.
And my understanding, what staff, correct me on this, the split is determined by the statute. The split is 50% automatically goes to the 1 mile radius, and then 50% absent intervention goes to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund citywide. So the flexibility that we have is really, do we redirect the Affordable Housing Trust Fund dollars to CD14 flexible account? Do we leave the money in the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, which is also very important citywide? Or do we put it into the convention center, which, especially at this time, may potentially produce some general fund that will ease up some of our burdens across the city in this budget? Councilwoman Hutt.
Can you explain the 24 months to us again? Because you're saying we won't actualize this money for 24 months.
Correct. The code allows for the first payment to be made either within 24 months or before the first building permit is issued for the project. So it allows for the applicant to clear their conditions and not actually pay the public benefit payment until they're ready to start construction.
Has a permit been requested?
Not, I believe they have filed for permits, but they would have to still go through their clearances, so it will still take some time before they are able to pull a building permit.
Is there any, we've voted on this, we're supporting it. Is there any issue that we suspect that the 5 million will not, that the 11 million total will not be realized?
It would not be realized if the applicant decided not to proceed with the project, but that timeline is, in terms of moving forward with the project, is in the applicant's hands.
Okay, so since we've taken action, we're banking on this. And if we're banking on it, then what my chair is asking is basically we reinvest in the banking of it. It's the way I'm interpreting it.
Well, we're basically designating the proceeds of this. Whether, if the proceeds don't come in, then nothing happens.
Right.
If the proceeds do come in as expected from this project by selling the airspace, we are determining what those proceeds will go to. We know under the ordinance that 50% has to go to a 1 mile radius benefits fund, and then the other 50%, according to the ordinance, goes into the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, but apparently there's some flexibility that you could, by the council has the flexibility to redirect. Do we have the flexibility to redirect the first 50%? No, but we do have the flexibility to redirect the second 50%. And one of our colleagues is asking to redirect it to make it a district fund. Another option, again, is potentially putting it back into the convention center. And to be clear, not just to give it to the convention center, here's another $5 million, but to the convention center planning, you know, what we as a city are spending the money on. I don't know exactly, you guys can help me phrase that properly, but. So, I don't know. Those are the three choices that seem to be before us. I would recommend putting it into the convention center because that's a city, A, it's the convention airspace that we're selling. B, it's a citywide asset, so I think it should be a citywide benefit, and the convention center is citywide. And C, just being so focused on the budget right now, even if it doesn't come in this year, we're gonna have a tough budget next year. Getting $5 million that can supplant money that we would otherwise spend out of the general fund is going to be important for us as a city. So that would be my recommendation. I'm really open to any of those recommendations or thoughts. I'm not trying to dictate this at all. I'm literally trying to figure it out as we go. But we have to land somewhere. So colleagues, any thoughts or any objections to doing it that way? Silence is assent. So the way I'm recommending is we go ahead and we approve the commission report, which is allowing the sale of the TFAR, meaning the airspace above the convention center. Per the ordinance, we allow the 50% to go to the 1 mile radius benefit fund as happens. And then also per the ordinance, there's another 50% that would, absent intervention, would go to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. And we are going to instead put that money into the planning of the convention center to create a special fund so that that money can help assist with the planning of the convention center, which in effect will allow the city to back out some general fund that we can use as a city. Hopefully it happens this year, but it may happen next year. But either way, it's money that goes to the general, to the convention center planning, and as a consequence would enable more general fund. Clear as mud? Does anybody on the staff or attorneys want to restate that in a more coherent form? Lisa, you're good at this. You want to restate it?
Yes, thank you. I think planning staff understands that the 50% direct provision will be directed toward the convention center expansion and modernization project.
Okay.
And that will be the recommendation that advances to the full city council.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Nazarian.
I guess just to be clear, also reducing the current city's obligation, right? Or do we not want to state that to give ourselves flexibility?
Right. I mean, one thing to keep in mind is, I think, was mentioned by staff, is that we may not be real, if this project does not get built and does not move forward, then we would not realize the money from it. And we do have projects, especially in down, that do not come to fruition. So it's not money that is guaranteed to the city. It's just money that if this project does move forward, we would receive in about 2 years, within a 2-year timeframe.
What the council is doing is granting of a land use entitlement that then the applicant has the option to execute. And if they execute it and utilize that grant, then these are the rules of the game. Then those TFAR payments must be made in accordance with the ordinance.
Okay. Okay, unless there are any other comments or questions, I'm going to call for a vote. Okay, let's open the roll. Let's call.
And having said that, committee members, the recommendation from CD 14 is disapproved.
It's not disapproved, it's never taken up.
My understanding was that CD 14 submitted a request to allocate the money to the CD 14 trust fund.
Oh, okay, well, maybe it's a procedural thing. We have a commission report. We had a request from CD 14 to amend that.
Right.
We did not take up that request. We
Okay.
heard it, but I don't think we have to vote against it because it's not before us.
Very good.
But you tell me, if we need to vote it, we'll vote it. We'll vote it the way you want to vote it. But what I hear is a commission report that we have to vote on, a recommendation by CD 14, which nobody advanced. Instead, we made an alternative recommendation, which we will vote on, which is before us.
Understood.
Obviously, any member of this committee can put forward the CD 14 recommendation, and it's, I get it, I understand why they're doing it, and it's not a bad thing to put forward, it's just, we are where we are. So,
Got it. And in addition, the findings as it relates to the SKIA, which is stated on the record in the committee report from the planning department.
okay.
So I will call the roll. Mr. Blumenfield,
Blumenfield, aye.
Ms. Hutt,
Aye.
Mr. Nassarian, Mr. Lee's absent, and Ms. Rahman.
Yes.
That's 4 ayes, and that's approved, sir.
Okay. All right, next we have item 3.
Item 3, council members, this is a communication from the mayor relative to the appointment of Mr. Julio Esperias Jr. to the South Los Angeles Area Planning Commission.
Great. So for this item, I guess before we hear from Mr. Esperias, we will, if there's any public comment, if anyone wishes to speak on this item, they will have a minute. So if you're here to speak on this item, please come forward to the left of the chamber. Seeing nobody come forward, we will take up this item. And Mr. Esperias, wish to come forward? Welcome.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, and congratulations on your nomination.
Thank you.
And please tell us a little bit about yourself and what your goals are for this position.
Yeah, first of all, good afternoon, council members. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm Julio Esperias. I am a proud, lifelong resident of South Los Angeles, born and raised in this community. Went to local schools from Normandy Avenue Elementary School to Fauché Learning Center for middle school and high school. This is a community that raised me. It's a community that has been home for me, and I see this opportunity as an honor to be considered for this commission because I believe in uplifting community voices when it comes to this process, when it comes to decisions that impact our neighborhoods. And my background includes as a former community organizer for the LA Neighborhood Land Trust, where I partnered with residents to identify vacant lots when it came to developing pocket parks, green spaces, a community that has been underserved when it comes to development. There, I had the opportunity to organize residents in South Los Angeles where we were to create the Fremont Community Garden and Wellness Center, critical project in this community that has, as I noted, long lacked access to healthy foods and open spaces. Also formerly served the Voices Neighborhood Council several years ago, so I understand working with community, with city staff, with departments to make sure that items that impact our community are talked about, that are discussed, and moved along appropriately. Currently, I serve as Director of Communications for an organization called the Western Justice Center. Organization works to promote peace building and conflict resolution, especially through peer mediation programs in schools. This approach is rooted in listening and dialogue and finding common ground, skills that are essential not just in school, but also in civic life. I've seen firsthand the power of building consensus and working towards shared solutions, and I'll carry that with me in this role. If appointed, I'll bring a thoughtful, balanced, and pragmatic perspective to the commission. I'm committed to working with city staff, fellow commissioners, and council offices to ensure that projects meet legal requirements while also reflecting the values and needs of our community. Thank you for your consideration.
Great, thank you very much. Colleagues, any comments or questions? No? Okay, well, I think we're all excited for you to take this role on. I appreciate your commitment, and I'd like to recommend that we move your nomination forward to the full council for consideration and adoption. And
Thank you.
Councilman Hutt seconds. So let's call the roll.
Yes, Mr. Blumenfield.
Blumenfield, aye.
Ms. Hutt.
Aye.
Mr. Nassarian. Aye. Mr. Lee's absent, and Ms. Rahman.
Yes.
That's 4 ayes, and that's approved, sir.
Wonderful. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, next we're going to move to item 6, I believe.
Yes, item 6, sir, is a city attorney report and a draft ordinance to rescind a prior ordinance which prohibited new oil and gas extraction and made existing extraction activities as a non-conforming use in all zones.
Okay, first we'll hear if there's any public comment, and then we'll go to the city attorney for the report. Is anyone here to make public comment on item 6? If you are, please head to the left side of the room. Seeing nobody come forward on this item, public comment on this is closed. Welcome. If you would please present your report, and you can take it from there.
Thank you, Chair Blumenfield and honorable members of the committee. I'm Jennifer Topkin from the City Attorney's Office. As you will recall, in December of 2022, City Council voted to approve an ordinance 187709, which made oil drilling illegal in all districts, made existing oil uses non-conforming, and banned the drilling of new wells. This matter was litigated. We had a total of actually 6 lawsuits filed. 4 of them went to judgment, and Judge Kinn, Curtis Kinn of the Los Angeles County Superior Court, found in September of last year that the ordinance was preempted by state law. About 3 weeks after that ruling, Governor Newsom signed an ordinance, or signed a bill that basically reinstated it undid the preemption argument that the oil companies put forth, saying that the local jurisdictions could not take action such as this. That's AB 3233. So we had the judgment, and then we had this new state law, and the parties entered into a stipulated judgment that essentially said the city will comply with the court order and take action to rescind the ordinance, and the city is free to move forward with a new ordinance in the future with the protections of AB 3233. So I'm here asking that the Plum Committee recommend that City Council adopt the ordinance that was drafted by our office, approved as to form and legality, which would essentially rescind 187709 and make that recommendation that City Council approve that ordinance. And I'm available for any questions.
Great, and you are moving forward with the new ordinance under AB 3233?
The Department of City Planning is already taking steps, and we'll be making an announcement shortly as to the new ordinance.
Great, thank you. Mr. Nazarian.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Thank you for the presentation. I just wanted to take a minute and thank some of the folks that especially were were key players in being involved. The planning department staff did phenomenal work. I very much appreciate your hard work in getting something that was caught in between legal challenges as well as legislative timelines and a desire from the council, a great number of council members who want to see this move forward. And the angst of getting it move forward kind of created its own stumbling block of moving it quickly. So I want to give a shout out to the planning department for working with my staff and coming up with the hearing last week, where we had a very good conversation with planning as well as a robust dialogue and closed session with the city attorney to move this forward. So I appreciate all of the work. I've already requested for a waiver out of our committee, E&E, because it's already going in the right direction. So this was going to, hopefully this is the last step before it goes to council for a quick action there. So just wanted to say thank you to the planning department for all of your hard work. Look forward to continuing this course of action.
Colleagues, any other comments or questions? Okay, seeing none, going to recommend that we approve the ordinance to repeal our oil and gas ordinance as discussed. So let's call the roll, please.
Yes, sir. Mr. Blumenfield.
Blumenfield, aye.
Ms. Hutt.
Aye.
Mr. Nassarian.
Aye.
Mr. Lee's absent, and Ms. Rahman.
Yes.
That's 4 ayes, and that's approved.
Okay. Next, then, we have item 8.
Yes, sir. Item 8 includes a categorical exception from CEQA and a report from the Planning Commission and an appeal by Supporters Alliance for Environmental Responsibility, which is challenging the approval of the site plan review. And this is a project that is mixed use and which will contain 112 dwelling units. 12 units are set aside for very low income households. The project is in CD 13.
Okay. And just to remind folks, so we're going to have the planning department do their report, then we're going to have the appellant. They'll have 3 minutes, then we'll have the applicant have 3 minutes, and then if Councilmember Soto Martinez's office wishes to speak, they can speak then, and after that, we will take public comment, 1 minute per speaker, and then we will move to committee discussion. So per that plan, we will begin with the planning department. Welcome.
Good afternoon, honorable council members. My name is Dylan Lawrence with the Department of City Planning. The item before the committee today is an appeal of a site plan review entitlement for a project located at 7014 to 7022 West Sunset Boulevard and 1438 to 1446 North Sycamore Avenue in the Hollywood Community Plan in Council District 13. On February 13, 2025, the City Planning Commission approved the 112-unit mixed-use building and adopted categorical exemption number ENV-2024-481-CE as the environmental clearance. The letter of determination was mailed on February 24, 2025. On March 10, 2025, one appeal was filed by the Supporters Alliance for Environmental Responsibility, SAFER. The appellant claims that the project does not qualify for a Class 32 categorical exemption under the California Environmental Quality Act, and therefore the approval of the site plan review was made in error. Staff responses to the appeal points have been transferred to the council file for council's consideration. A letter was submitted to the file yesterday from the appellant claiming that the project does not qualify for a Class 32 categorical exemption due to significant adverse environmental impacts on air quality and indoor air quality. Upon review of the air quality study in the case file, staff can confirm that the applicant did in fact prepare an appropriate air quality assessment that shows air quality impacts will not exceed the local significance thresholds set by the South Coast Air Quality Management District. We are happy to provide additional detail upon request. With that said, staff recommends that the Plum Committee deny the appeal and sustain the original determined by the City Planning Commission. That concludes my presentation, and I am available for any questions that you may have.
Thank you. Okay, next we'll have the appellant. The appellant is here, followed by the applicant. So the appellant, you'll have 3 minutes. Welcome.
My name is Chase Preciado from Winslow Jury, LLP. I am speaking on behalf of Supporters Alliance for Environmental Responsibility, or SAFER. SAFER respectfully requests that the committee grant SAFER's appeal with the Planning Commission's approval of the infill exemption prepared for the 7014 West Sunset Boulevard project. The committee should instead require the city to prepare an MND or EIR. CEQA review is required because there is substantial evidence that the project will significantly impact air quality and indoor air quality. Thus, the project does not qualify for the exemption on its face, and the unusual circumstances exception to the exemption applies. First, air quality experts Patrick Sutton and Dr. Yuan Tian from Baseline Environmental Consulting concluded that the project would significantly impact air quality. Baseline found that the project's construction would emit diesel particulate matter, or DPM, a known carcinogen, over the 20-month construction period. The nearest sensitive receptors are only 40 and 270 feet from the project site. The project's construction DPM emissions would expose these receptors to a cancer risk of 24.1 per million. This far exceeds the CEQA cancer risk threshold of 10 per million for the South Coast Air Quality Management District. Second, industrial hygienist Francis Offerman concluded that the project will significantly affect indoor air quality. The project's long-term indoor emissions of formaldehyde gas, a known carcinogen, will expose its future occupants to an airborne cancer risk of 120 per million for residents and 17.7 per million for commercial employees. These cancer risks far exceed the CEQA significance threshold of 10 per million. This is even assuming that all materials comply with the California Air Resources Board's formaldehyde airborne toxic control measure. The city did not address this impact. Thus, there is substantial evidence that the project will have significant adverse impacts on air quality and indoor air quality. These impacts create an unusual circumstance, thereby precluding the city's reliance on the exemption. For the reasons discussed here and in SAFER's written comments, SAFER again respectfully requests that the committee grant SAFER's appeal and require the city to prepare an MND or EIR. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Next, if there's a representative from the applicant. You guys can split your time if you're both with the applicant.
Okay, thank you so much. Good afternoon, honorable council members. My name is Kendra Casper of DLA Piper, and I represent the applicant. First, I want to thank Dylan Lawrence and Valentina Knox-Jones for all of their hard work on this project. SAFER, a serial project appellant, filed an appeal of our CEQA determination and site plan review on March 10, 2025. The justification that accompanied the appeal states only that the project did not qualify for a Class 32 exemption, stating no basis for its claims and providing no evidence in support. As is custom, yesterday, one day before today's hearing, SAFER submitted a supplemental letter that included a total of 40 pages of legal arguments and evidence supporting new grounds for appeal. First, the letter is untimely and thus procedurally invalid. The city's CEQA appeal ordinance requires appeals to be filed within 15 days of the date of approval. The ordinance also requires that an appeal include, and I'm quoting, a written statement setting forth all of the reasons for the appeal and specifying in detail why the appellant believes the CEQA clearance fails to comply with CEQA. The SAFER appeal was a bare-bones assertion of noncompliance with no supporting evidence and no documentation. Not until 2 months later, again, yesterday before this hearing, were legal arguments and evidence submitted. Because this was submitted 2 months late and not within the 15 days of the project approval, it is untimely and should not be considered. But even if it is considered, the letter has the same generic legal arguments and technical reports SAFER has attached to a number of other project appeals and is substantively invalid. Lastly, I would like to concur with the planning staff report, but make an additional note about substantial evidence. An agency decision supported by substantial evidence, which is what we have here, is upheld whether it is contradicted or not. Importantly, to carry its burden under the substantial evidence standard, the appellant must set forth all of the evidence material to the city's findings, then show how that evidence could not reasonably support the findings. The appellant has failed to do so here, and thus we respectfully request that the appeal is denied. I also have our technical environmental expert here, Jesse Barkley, in case there's any specific technical questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay. Now, if there's anyone from Councilmember Soto Martinez's office wishes to speak?
Good afternoon, council members. Emma Howard, Planning Director for Councilmember Soto Martinez. On item number 8, I would just ask that you sustain the determination of the City Planning Commission and deny the appeal. Thank you.
Okay. If there are any members of the public who came to speak on this item who haven't spoken yet, sorry, Audit LA, you've spoken for your 2 minutes already at the beginning of the meeting. So, so you forfeited all your time to speak at additional time. Anyone else here to speak on this item? I don't see anyone else. Okay, so public comment on this item is closed. Colleagues, are there any comments or questions or concerns on this item? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to recommend that we deny the appeal. So if we want to read that into the record, and we can call the roll.
Yes, sir. So it'll be a denial of the safer appeal, subject to the adoption of the conditions of approval and project findings, and also to adopt the environmental clearance, the categorical exception from CEQA for an infill development project as stated in the city planning transmittal. I will call the roll. Mr. Blumenfield.
Blumenfield, aye.
Ms. Hutt.
Aye.
Mr. Nassarian.
Aye.
Mr. Lee's absent, and Ms. Rahman.
Yes.
That's 4 ayes, and that's approved, sir.
Okay, you do that right now? Okay, and then before we move to the next item, been informed that Building and Safety has an amendment to item 4, which was one that we took on consent, a technical amendment. So if we could vote to reconsider that quickly, hear their technical amendment.
Which one?
So let's vote to reconsider item 4.
Item 4?
Let's open the roll.
Yes.
Call the roll.
So the item is before you, item number 4, which was a ordinance. Let's see here. It's a city attorney prepare revised ordinance which makes technical corrections. Okay, can you give me a second, Councilman?
Yeah, well, we can come back to it. Why don't we then move to items 9, 10,
Sure.
and 11? We'll come back. Item 4, as I understand it, is just Building Safety has just come up with some technical changes. We will continue on the regular program. We'll come back to that. So
Okay.
let's take up items 9, 10, and 11.
Yes, sir. Item 9, 10, and 11. Item 9 is an appeal by Creed. They're challenging the approval of the track map. This is the same project for 9, 10, and 11. However, item 9, as I stated, is appealing the track map. Item number 10, the appellant, again, Creed, is challenging the approval of the 3 land use entitlements, the vesting conditional use, the zone variance, and the site plan review. And item 11, finally, this is the other entitlements, which at the time we're proposing a resolution for 2 general plan amendments and a zone and height district, a vesting zone and height district change. And this is for the construction of a 13-story building. And this project is situated in CD 14.
Okay. So, and just process-wise, so everybody, since we're taking up 3 items, 9, 10, and 11 together, the plan will be to first have Planning Department present their report. Then we'll ask the appellant to present their appeals. They get 3 minutes for each appeal, so they have a total of up to 6 minutes, should they wish to use them. Then we'll ask the applicant to respond. They too will have to be able to respond to each appeal, so they'll have up to 2 3-minute appeals or up to 6 minutes. After that, we'll hear if there's any comments from Councilwoman Jarado's office. Then we'll take public comment, 1 minute per speaker, and then we'll move to committee discussion on all 3 of those items, and then we'll make recommendations and take a vote. So let's start with the Planning Department to present the report on the 3 items.
Good afternoon, honorable council members. This is Ray Fukuda from the Department of City Planning. The project before you today is the Violet Street Creative Office Campus project for the expansion of an existing creative office complex, resulting in approximately 435,000 square feet of new office space and 15,000 square feet of new ground floor retail restaurant space. There could also be an additional 211,000 square feet of office space under a future campus expansion phase, and this project is located in the Arts District in CD14. And there are 3 items before you today. First, the council file -S1, item number 9 is an appeal of the tract map. Second, council file -S2, item number 10 is an appeal of the CPC case entitlements for the vesting conditional use permit, zone variance, and site plan review. And third, council file 25-0159, item 11 is a request for 2 general plan amendments and a vesting zone and height district change. The 2 appeals have been filed by CREED LA and allege that the project's EIR did not adequately analyze the project's emissions and water supply. However, planning staff has fully responded to the appeal points in letters dated May 7th, 2025, which have been uploaded to the council files. I'd also like to note that the appellant sent in an additional correspondence last night repeating their argument that the EIR is inadequate. Planning has evaluated that additional correspondence and maintains that the appellant does not provide any substantial evidence of deficiencies. Their arguments are speculative, and there is substantial evidence in the EIR demonstrating that the project's impacts on air quality and water supply will be less than significant, and therefore there is no merit to the appeals. In addition, planning has submitted technical modifications to the council files that address the project's consistency with the downtown community plan and new land use designation. First, planning recommends modifications to the VTTM findings and conditions of approval to reflect the project's consistency with the new downtown community plan land use designation. Second, planning recommends modifications to the CPC case findings and conditions of approval to reflect the dismissal of the general plan amendment requests, as planning has determined they have been superseded by the downtown community plan and are no longer necessary for the project, as well as the project's consistency with the new land use designation. In addition, planning recommends that the draft zone change ordinance also be revised to provide the necessary clarification and procedures regarding the project's vesting rights as a result of the new downtown community plan coming into effect. I do want to note 2 more minor modifications to this draft zone change ordinance. First, there's a typo in the property's legal description. So the legal description in section 1 should read lot 48 ARBs 1 and 2 with other descriptions unchanged. And second, planning recommends modifying the 4th whereas statement as follows. Whereas the proposed projects requested zone designations of Chapter 1 of the LAMC are not expressly listed within the Downtown Community Plan and Chapter 1A of the LAMC, but are nonetheless consistent with the intent and purposes of the Downtown Community Plan, with the remaining language unchanged. That all being said, staff recommends that the committee deny the tract appeal and approve the vesting tentative tract map and certify the environmental impact report, deny the CPC case appeal and approve the requested entitlements, dismiss the general plan amendments as they are no longer necessary for the project, and approve the vesting zone change and height district change, as well as incorporate all of planning staff's recommended technical modifications, including those just read into the record. This concludes staff's presentation. We're available for any questions you may have. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Okay, next we'll ask the appellant to come forward. Welcome.
Thank
So
you.
She has actually up to 6 minutes because there's 2 different items.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Honorable Chair, Council members. My name is Kalila Fetterman on behalf of the Coalition for Responsible Equitable Economic Development, Los Angeles, CREED LA. CREED LA requests that the City Council uphold our appeal, We ask that the council vacate the Planning Commission certification of the EIR and approval of the project's entitlements, and remand the project to staff to address the project's significant, unmitigated environmental, air quality, public health, and fire safety impacts in a revised and recirculated EIR. Our comments and those of our expert consultants provided substantial evidence that the City Planning Commission abused its discretion and failed to proceed in the manner required by law by approving the project in reliance on a deficient EIR and without substantial evidence to support its findings. CREED LA has been engaged on this project since 2023, when we reviewed the draft EIR prepared by the city and found significant deficiencies in the analysis. The EIR is deficient because it fails to analyze the project's significant environmental impacts associated with air quality, health risk, and fire safety. First, the EIR fails to analyze the project's significant impacts associated with diesel particulate matter. CREED LA's air quality and health risk expert consultant, Dr. Clark, identified a significant cancer risk from diesel exhaust during construction, which will result in a cancer risk exceeding 130 per million, well above the South Coast Air Quality Management District's threshold of significance of 10 in 1 million. But the EIR fails to adequately analyze the health risk impacts using age sensitivity factors for the area's most sensitive individuals, like children and infants. Second, CREED LA's air quality and health risk expert consultant presented substantial evidence that the measures proposed in the EIR would not adequately mitigate diesel particulate matter emissions from construction of the project to less than significant levels. The final EIR before the City Council therefore remains inadequate and its conclusions unsupported by substantial evidence. The City must revise and recirculate the EIR to adequately analyze and mitigate the project's significant air quality and health risk impacts from diesel emissions during construction. Third, the project results in a significant public safety risk due to violations of the fire code. Our fire safety expert consultant identified significant deficiencies in the EIR's analysis of fire flow and availability of water during a fire emergency. The record before the council contains substantial evidence that the existing infrastructure and facilities are insufficient, and the project's water main upgrades would not remedy these deficiencies. The EIR itself recognizes that the project site currently does not have adequate fire flow to demonstrate compliance with the standards specified in the fire code. The record before the council today lacks substantial evidence that the project will meet the 12,000 gallons per minute fire flow requirement outlined by the Los Angeles Fire Department. The EIR and the record before the City Council does not demonstrate that the project will be adequately served by water to support fire flow. The council is well aware that inadequate fire flow during an emergency poses substantial risk to firefighting operations, adjacent properties, and public safety. The project's significant fire safety impacts and violations of the fire code must be analyzed in a revised and recirculated EIR before the project can be approved. The city cannot rely on post-approval fire safety confirmation. The public must be assured that the project is approved before the project is approved, that the project is adequately served during a fire emergency. Substantial evidence in CREED LA's comments and expert consultant reports demonstrate that the project results in a significant public safety and health risk impacts to nearby residents. The city therefore cannot make the necessary findings to approve the project's entitlements or certify the EIR. The City Council should uphold CREED LA's appeal, vacate the Planning Commission's decision to approve the project's entitlements and EIR, and remand the project to staff to address the project's significant, unmitigated environmental, air quality, public health, and fire safety impacts in a revised and recirculated EIR. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. Okay, next we'll hear from the applicant. We'll have 6 minutes. You have 3 minutes for each response, but you have a total of 6 minutes to respond or for your comments. Go ahead.
Thank you. Ben Saltzman from Gibson Dunn. I will do my best not to take anywhere close to 6 minutes. The comments that were just stated are consistent with the written comments that have been submitted previously into the record and that have already been thoroughly examined both by the Planning Commission, by staff, and by the city's EIR consultant. And in every case, the evidence is clear that the appellant statements about significant impacts that were either not disclosed or not properly mitigated in EIR are simply not correct. There is a difference in methodology with respect to the air quality analysis. The appellant would want the city to use a different methodology that the city has considered, but has determined to follow a different methodology consistent with substantial evidence in the city's practice. And with respect to the fire safety, the evidence prepared by the city's EIR consultant and is available in the record indicates that the project will result in improved fire safety, will result in improved water infrastructure, and the assertions by the appellant on that issue are also without merit. So we appreciate staff, the planning commissions, the city's consideration of this throughout the multi-year process. We look forward to your approval today and are available to answer any other questions that you may have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, we'll hear from Council Member Jurado's office. Welcome.
Good afternoon again, committee members. Kevin Ocobillo, Planning Director on behalf of Councilmember Isabel Jurado. The project before you today is a redevelopment that will anchor hundreds of new jobs to the Arts District with high-quality office space. The modern design and the new building, compared with the preservation of the Ford factory building, brings contemporary and complementary aesthetics tied into a unified creative campus. We are pleased to see the inclusion of high-quality open space and know it will be a destination to support creative industries within the city of Los Angeles. As the planning department explained, the project was initially appealed and denied by the CPC. The second appeal does not raise any significant new issues, and all appeal points have been thoroughly addressed by the applicant or through the EIR. Our office does not find any reason to overturn CPC's recommendation and urge you to vote to dismiss the appeals and approve the project as presented. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, next we'll hear from members of the public. If anyone wishes to speak to these items 9, 10, and 11, come forward. If you have already spoken today for 1 minute, then you will have 1 minute remaining. If you have not spoken at all today, you can have up to 2 minutes since there are 3 items here. So come forward, state your name, and again, if you've spoken before, let us know and you'll get 1 minute, and if you haven't, let us know and we'll get you 2 minutes.
Good afternoon, Honorable Chair, Honorable Council members. My name is Ernesto Pantoja, here on behalf of Sergio Rascon, Business Manager of Laborers Local 300. We're clearly in support of this project, and we ask you to deny the appeals presented to you. This project will create a lot of jobs in an area that sorely needs it, and for us, we have over 1,000 members that live in this area alone who have, for the last few years, have been working outside of the city because all these projects are non-union. Here we have a developer that's agreed to build it using our union laborers, and we'd like to have our people live and work in the same area and not have to drive miles and miles away and, go into the whole climate problem where we're adding hours on the freeway and then hours away from their family members, right? And the jobs we're creating, formerly incarcerated individuals, homeless individuals, veterans, and even women. So we ask you to please support this project and deny the appeals. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Is it 2 minutes or 1 minute?
If you haven't, have you spoken before?
No.
Then you have up to 2 minutes.
Thank you so much, Honorable Chair, distinguished committee. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Jason Baez, and I'm a proud member of Labor's International Union of North America and a fourth-generation Los Angelino. And I'm here today to fully support this project moving forward. We have a very noble developer who has committed to utilizing union labor, which will assure that this facility is built to the highest standard that money can buy. All safety measures will be implemented into each everyday operations. Each worker will receive a living wage with excellent benefits and also training opportunities from our state-accredited school right here in the city of Azusa, where they can enhance their careers and acquire many different certifications which make them more valuable. I want to say I grew up right here. I spent my weekends outside these doors, many weekends. And me, like many other Los Angelinos, I was once in the position where I was just about to be forced to move to San Bernardino because I couldn't afford to live here. But a project like this completely changed the life of me and my family. And not only was I able to stay here in the city I love and want us to be in the rest of my life, but I was able to buy 3 homes and have something established for my wife and children. It didn't stop with me. It was a ripple effect. I brought in friends, family, and my friends' families, and that keeps going to this day. And I want to tell you, there are so many amazing stories of all that these projects are doing for families here in Los Angeles. Please support this project. It means a lot to this community, and it helps us tremendously. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good afternoon. My name is Justin Walters, and I'm with Plumbers Local Union 78. And we're here in opposition of the project. The project isn't guaranteed that every person on the job is going to get fair wages or be within the community. So we would also like the same opportunities that you heard from other people today for our apprentices who also go through the 5-year program to be able to earn their on-site experience. And it's not guaranteed with everybody on this job. So we stand in opposition, and we hope that you would too. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good afternoon. My name is Gus Torres, and I'm here today on behalf of UA Local 250 pipe fitters, welders, and apprentices to ask you to stand with us against this project. The applicant has done a poor job of working with the community on this project, and our community deserves better. The city needs to support the rights of workers and the local community. Commitments to hiring local workers, skilled workers, and boosting our economy from within should be a part of every construction project, every time. Support us by not supporting this project. Thank you for your time, and God bless.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Hello, Commissioners. My name is Al Sanchez, and I'm here on behalf of Labor's International Union of North America. And we are asking you deny the appeal and move this forward with the approval of this project based on all the findings. This project has checked all the boxes, and it will create good union jobs, good pay, and good benefits, and brings much-needed revenue to the city. It is really an investment into the future of our city and the future of our apprentices who work and live here. I thank you for your time and the opportunity to speak. Please support this project and approve the staff's recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good afternoon. I'll be speaking on Agenda 10. The project is at 2045 Violet Street, Los Angeles. My name is Richard Burns. I'm a representative with the Western States Regional Council of Carpenters and have over 33 years working in Los Angeles and surrounding communities. Projects like this should and will create opportunities for local hire and should require state-certified apprenticeship programs with opportunities with good paying careers, with medical benefits, and a pension so they can retire with respect and dignity. With this project, the local hire and certified apprenticeship workforce will have less challenges of long commutes and the burden of large gas bills each month, and have the opportunity of using public transportation to travel to the project, and would be able to live and spend in the community of their choice. We want this project to move forward and deny the appeal. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good evening. My name is Edgar Castañeda. I'm a member of the Western States Regional Council of Carpenters. Developers are the ones that are shaping the future of LA. Each new development, whether it's a skyscraper touching the clouds or a charming townhome breathing into our neighborhoods, is a testament to the developer's vision of the city. Each building they erect redefines LA's image, adding a fresh perspective to our collective understanding of what our city truly is. But let's not forget the middle class. It is the heart of the city, and they are the ones providing the ripple effect that keep our economy afloat. They move into these developments, they inhabit these spaces, and they fill the city with their hard-earned dollars, their hopes, and their dreams. And they stand as the majority with the power to make or break designs in the market. Thank you. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon. If we can please have a minute of your time. My name is Juan, and I'm very upset about this project. First thing, this project is massive and overall a poor fit for the area. The already packed small side streets do not add more traffic and density to them. Second, the last thing Los Angeles needs is more office spaces. We have so many other issues that we should be addressing other than building, a tower of office and restaurant spaces. I ask that you don't support this project, please. And thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Sam Nieto, and I'm here to ask you not to support this project. I don't think that a 13-story office tower is the type of project we should be developing at this moment. I'm looking at my AI overview, and as of May of 2025, the office vacancy rate in Los Angeles is approximately 24.2%. This is based on data collected from the first quarter of 2025. Overall availability in the Los Angeles market is 29.2%. So this tells me that there's not a very high demand for office space. While looking at the project site through Google Street View, I noticed that there was a homeless person sleeping out front. So immediately I thought that it makes more sense to put up 13 stories of housing instead of 13 stories of office space. So that's why I don't support this project, and I'm asking you not to support it as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good afternoon. My name is Veta Pasuto. I am with the DTLA Anchor Church. We ask you not to support this project. With this project, this developer has the opportunity to become a support during these hard times. This project could be a huge boost to our local economy. But this developer is not looking out for the people of Los Angeles and the member of the community. Los Angeles deserves better. Please do not support this project. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good afternoon, council members. My name is Godfrey Washira, and I'm with CREED LA. Our argument is simple. The committee should uphold our appeal because the project has some serious flaws. And this is not speculative, it's real. First, the project has health and safety risks from pollution during construction. This is important to us because we represent construction workers and fight to see that they work in safe spaces as everybody would want. And talking about safety as a priority, I think the city should be using the most conservative methodology to ensure that it's really a clean project. If there are two differing methodologies, why don't we go with the one that is most conservative, the one where we are really sure at the end of the day that there won't be much pollution to it. Secondly, in terms of fire flow, the project doesn't provide adequate fire flow, which given our recent experiences, we simply should not be allowing. Safety has got to be a top priority. So we believe it's hard to make the necessary findings to approve the EIR and entitlements. We ask the committee to uphold our appeal and ask staff to prepare revised and recirculated EIR. Thank you.
One more speaker.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Feliz Palma. I wanted to speak out against this project and my concerns with it, especially the proposed building is the stories. It's hard for this area, the tallest building. In this area is maybe 8-10 stories. What do we need to build style building here? Second, this area is already crowded with multiple warehouse buildings and industrial space. The amount of traffic is already high. problems are the low stories of office space and restaurants and retail space to the area. Seems like it, but this project doesn't fit in this area. I will only causes more problems. Don't support this project. It's not good for anyone, but this development. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That concludes public comment on this item. Colleagues, any comments, questions for staff? Seeing no comments or questions, I'm going to recommend that we deny the appeal filed by Creed, both appeals, and that we, on 11, take the action to approve the project. So, no other comments or questions? Is that a question? No.
Bob, I couldn't hear you at all.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
I'm recommending, I was asking if there's any comments or questions, and then making a recommendation that we deny both appeals, and that on, that's 9 and 10, and 11 is to take the actions to approve the project. And do we need to take 3 separate votes, or can we vote all 3 of those at once?
3 separate votes.
Okay, 3 separate votes.
Yes, sir. And I believe the planning department had some technical changes for number 11.
Yeah, could we just, good afternoon, Commissioner, just wanted to clarify whether that would incorporate planning department's recommended changes as well, including those in the letters submitted to the council file and those read into the record today?
Yes, we can do that. We can clarify that that will take into consideration the planning department's letter changes.
Thank you.
With that, do we need to do any other reading into the record, or can we approve? Do you want to read the?
Ms. Moore, do you have everything? Okay. Yes, sir. So for item number 9, as you have stated, sir, it's to deny the Creed appeal and sustain the Planning Commission's determination to approve the vesting track map. And also inclusive of that action is to certify the EIR and the findings and the modified conditions of approval, modified findings that are attached to the file and were transmitted by the Planning Department on the May 8, 2025. As to item 10, as you've stated, sir, to deny the Creed appeal, sustain the Planning Commission's approval of the entitlements, the vesting conditional use permit, the zone variance, and the site plan review, in addition to adopting the modified conditions of approval and modified findings, again, as recommended by the Planning Department in its May 8, 2025 transmittal and posted to the council file. As to item 11, again, making the findings as to the EIR, and in this case, as recommended by the Planning Department in its transmittal of May 8, 2025, to dismiss the general plan amendment two general plan amendments that were requested in as much as they're no longer necessary for the project and are superseded by the downtown community plan, and again, to adopt the modified conditions of approval and modified findings. So I will call the roll on each of those items. Item 9, Councilmember Blumenfield.
Blumenfield, aye.
Councilmember Hutt.
Yes.
Councilmember Nassarian. Absent. Councilmember Lee. Absent. Councilman Raman.
Yes.
That's 3 ayes, and item 9 is approved. As to the track map, item number 10, Councilman Blumenfield.
Blumenfield, aye.
Councilwoman Hutt.
Yes.
Mr. Nassarian's absent, Mr. Lee's absent, and Ms. Raman.
Yes.
That's 3 ayes, and those entitlements are approved.
I'm
And
so
item
sorry to interrupt everyone. I'm sorry, Morrison with City Planning. I just want to append to item number 11, the actions as spoken by Mr. Mejia, and then also to clarify to incorporate staff's additional modifications as read in today at this hearing for item number 11 regarding the additional changes to the draft zone change ordinance.
Very good. So those are inclusive of the action. I'm looking at the clerk right now. The technical changes that were read by Mr. Song when he made his presentation.
Right, and the new zone change ordinance will have to be submitted to.
Correct. And I'm getting to item 11. which was the zone change ordinance and the dismissal of the two general plan amendments. Mr. Blumenfield.
Blumenfield, aye.
Ms. Hutt.
Aye.
Mr. Nassarian, absent. Mr. Lee, absent. And Ms. Rahman.
Yes.
That's 3 ayes, and those are approved, sir.
Okay.
And I believe, Mr. Blumenfield, there was a desire to reconsider item 4, sir.
Yes, in fact, I think we already voted to reconsider.
Oh, we
and
did?
We just didn't take it up, right?
Okay.
Oh, do we need to vote again to reconsider, or are we okay?
If we already took that action, we're fine. I have some additional language.
Okay.
If
You'd
you're
like
ready.
to read that language?
Yes,
to the
so
record?
for item number 4, the item is being reconsidered. It was a city attorney report and a revised ordinance, which was making technical and clerical corrections. So the request from Building and Safety is to make further technical changes, and in addition to add language that would allow electrical review for express permits. And as such, we will need to request the city attorney to prepare and present a revised ordinance to capture these further technical changes and additional language that is being recommended by Building and Safety and which has been provided to the city clerk.
Great.
I will call the roll, sir.
Yeah, no, and this is just a minor thing, a change. It just expedites the construction of tenant improvements. And so I recommend that we adopt.
Don't worry about it.
Well, we already voted the item on consent, but we now vote again on the item on consent as amended.
Yes, sir, and to request the city attorney to prepare and present a revised ordinance to capture those changes.
Yep.
Mr. Blumenfield.
Blumenfield, aye.
Ms. Hutt.
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Nassarian, absent. Mr. Lee, absent. And Ms. Rahman.
Yes.
That's 3 ayes, and those recommendations are approved, sir.
Okay. And I believe that leaves us last to closed session. Is that right, item 14?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if we could quickly prepare the room for Okay, we're back in open session, and we are on item 14. And we have one vote. Could you tell us what I think we're vacating and setting aside the council action of June 27th? If you could read into the record what we're voting on?
Sure. As to item 14, to vacate and set aside the City Council's June 27, 2023 action and findings on the project application in Council File 230525 pursuant to the writ in Los Angeles Superior Court case number 23-STCP-03499, the lawsuit, and remand the project application in Council File 230525 to the Planning Department for further review and action on the project's application consistent with the writ and the lawsuit.
Okay. Let's call the roll.
Yes, sir. Mr. Blumenfield?
Blumenfield, aye.
Ms. Hutt?
Aye.
Mr. Nassarian? Absent. Mr. Lee, absent. And Ms. Rahman?
Yes.
That's 3 ayes, and those recommendations are adopted, sir.
Okay, and I believe that clears the desk, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now we have to open it up to general public comment for all who are here. So if anyone is here for general public comment, please go to the right side, the left side of the chamber, my right. Okay, seeing nobody here for general public comment, that closes public comment, and this meeting is adjourned.